Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. It is free to follow me. Free to follow me on this channel, Anonymous Tea. Free to follow me on my other channel, Anonymous Tea Podcast. There is new content over there. Follow me on the Tickety Talk at Anonymous Tea Podcast. Free to follow me on the Instagram. On the Instagram, he's at Anonymous Reality Tea. Free to share everywhere. Free to like the video so it gets out to the algorithm. Free to share with your family, your friends, and your foes, and coming or going, hit the like button. So today we're talking Melody Shari, aka Money Making Mel, aka Mogul Making Mel, and we are talking because Kenya Moore has entered into the chat. So Kenya Moore is doing, I guess, trending topics or what was popular, what was hot in these streets. And talked about Karen Huger as well getting released from prison and how she wants an interview with her. And then whoever is talking to her is like, okay, next we're going to talk about Melody Shari. And this is going to be an interesting video, you guys, for multiple reasons. Because first and foremost, Kenya Moore is good friends with Carlos King. So we are going to see in this video if she's going to call out if production did any manipulation, hid any forms of ABUSC. We are also going to find out, since Martell briefly was on Real Housewives of Atlanta when he was dating Shari, if there was any interactions, if there was anything that was inappropriate that was going down. Remember, allegedly, according to Kenya, Martell was in her DMs first, before Shari Whitfield. So it was all a scheme to set up a storyline for both parties, for both Real Housewives of Atlanta and the show on OWN. So, without further ado, let's get into what Kenya Moore has to say about Melody Shari Rogers.
Melody has accused her ex Martell, HOLT, of physically abusing her in the past and expressed that production tried to cover it up. He's denied the allegations and is accusing her of lying to get back on the show.
So Melody, HOLT, and Martell are basically shots fired at each other. A Melody claimed that Martell at some point was abusive toward her physically or mentally, because we saw the mental abuse.
It says physically here in the article.
She's accusing him, per the article, of being physically.
You could say allegedly too.
Allegedly being abusive. So we don't know what the full story is. Obviously, he hasn't been arrested or convicted of any crime. So we cannot say for a fact that he did. I hope this is not true. But for me, I'm always going to believe the woman. We carry a lot of guilt when we've been abused, when our relationships are not working out. We get people always constantly saying, oh, you can't keep a man. What's wrong with you? Always something pointed at the woman, blaming the woman for for the man's bad behavior or actions against us. And I think that it's inappropriate, it's unfair, and it's one-sided. It's misogynistic if you're a man making those comments. And women really need to have each other's back. We need to protect women. And most importantly, we need to protect Black women, okay? All women need protection. But, in the words of Malcolm X, we know that quote, the most disrespected person in the world is a Black woman. Okay? So we need to examine how we respond to things like that. And are we helping our friend? Are we saying, if my daughter came to me and said somebody put their hands on her, guess what? I'm not going to grill her and say, are you sure? When did this happen? My boots and my coat will already be on, and I will already be out the door going to address whatever young man or woman may have put their hands on my child. Obviously when she gets older, that will never happen. But I'm just saying, my point is if your daughter comes to you and says that a man put their hands on her, you must believe the child. The same way in abuse. If a child comes to you and says that, that they've been touched or made to feel a certain way that didn't feel comfortable for them, you must believe the child. That's just
So, as I suspected, Kenya Moore was doing a lot of twirling. At the beginning. I felt the beginning was horrendous because right off the bat, just like Dr. Heavenly, you're calling Melody Shari Rogers Melody Holt. And it's like, if we already have ABUSE allegations and Mel has showed receipts and everything else, Mel has legally changed her name and everything else, it's like, why do we keep doing this? It's giving, we still want to have her linked to Martell with this name, and it's disturbing. Absolutely disturbing. Biggest issue I had was there was no research. Somebody was feeding Kenya in the background, as y'all heard. Well, the article says this. Well, this says that. Which Kenya didn't read the article herself. Kenya has not been in communication with Melody Shari Rogers to get her side of things. Kenya Moore has not been on any of these blogs that all have been posting clips the past couple of days of Mel's tickety talk to get more context, to get more information as to why this has happened, why this has gone viral, why Mel is speaking out about it now. As I suspected, because she's good friends with Carlos King, she was not going to speak anything as it pertained to the show, as it pertained to production, as it pertained to anybody hiding any potential ABUSE. But if this is how Kenya's going to give her takes, I fully understand now how somebody can give her alleged receipts, Britt Edie, and it's not even the right person. Make it make sense! So then, the worst part of this, the worst a couple of offenses, right, was, again, the coaching of the person telling Kenya, well, you can just say allegedly. And it's like, okay, right? But it was this. It was Kenya Moore saying, we do not know, we don't think that he's been arrested or convicted of any crime. I hope it's not true. And where were you, Kenya Moore, when Martell was arrested last year for DV harassing communications in the 3rd degree? Where were you? He was arrested. He was convicted. He had to be on probation. He wasn't allowed to contact Mel for a year. All of these things, since it was his first offense, Martell didn't like the charges. He didn't like the fact that he could not be in any form of communication with Mel for a year. And appealed the conviction and wanted this to go to trial. The reason all of this is coming out now is because they recently had to resolve this case. Martell still pled guilty. Still pled guilty to the harassing and everything else, you guys. It is a guilty charge on Martell HOLT. So this is what I don't like when people just be talking and talking out the side of their necks. Can you have the facts? Can you do some research? Can you just say, oh, I just hope it's not true? I don't think he's ever been arrested. I don't think he's ever been convicted. But do you have proof of that? Because his mugshot was everywhere. All the blogs were talking about it. And then I felt like this was a little bit of a projection because we went into a little bit of a rabbit hole. I think she was trying to speak in general, but I couldn't help but feel like maybe a little bit was given her tea as well. That, you know, how people feel guilty when they're in ABUSIVE, relationships, marriages, what have you, and they protect the man. They lie about the ABUSC at the time and all of this and all of that. And then we got into a little bit of a tangent about the relationships not working out and blaming the woman can't be a man. But then she ended that portion by saying it's men who usually say that, but there's a lot of women who say that. And so then she was talking about how women do not have each other's back and everything else. And then talks about how the most disrespected woman is the black woman and everything else. Threw in there too that all women need to support women, but black women need to especially support black women. But and then gave an example of how if it was her daughter and her daughter, said if this was all hypothetical, if something happened to her daughter that whether it was a man or a woman or whatever else, Kenya's boots on the ground, she's going straight to that person and is going to handle whatever's going to handle. And I feel like that's also being missed in all of this, is that there's a lot of people here, whether they are victims themselves, whether they are survivors themselves, or they know somebody who is a victim, or they know somebody who is a survivor, or they know a relative, or they know a friend, or they know a colleague, or they know a coworker, or they know an acquaintance, and they are acting on this internet, like Mel is a lie. This is all a conspiracy. This is all a ruse to get you to buy her products. This is all a ruse to drum up interest, to watch that show that she left back in January. And it's just like, what are we doing? You think somebody wants to put this out there that has been protecting Martell for years and years and years, and then has to get on the internet and see people who find you want to report on her court cases, but say that Martell won the case. Say that Martell has been right all along. Martell is the one that is suffering from the ABUSC. He is the real DV survivor. That's why Mel's come forward. Not just because she was triggered when all this has happened, but she's seeing all over the internet people who are Team Martell and hate Mel so much that they're going to refute anything that she says, even if it's facts. And Kenya, Mel showed receipts on her Tickety Talk Lives of multiple police reports that she's filed. And as you can see, Martell is still roaming free out here, continuing the harassment. But now he is focusing in on whatever adult male is in close proximity to Melody Shari Rogers, because he wants that person out the way. And why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? If Mel is already speaking to all of the types of ABUSC and harassment that she's experiencing, Martell wants Mel alone to himself. And he is pissed off because he does not have the same lifestyle. The concubine is pissed off because she was sold a dream. She probably had a better life of lies and fallacies as the mistress while Martell was married to Mel, because he had access to the money just like he had access to the $17,000 he stole from her. But this is what I don't like, you guys, is when people do not have all the facts, and just that whole first portion of this was a disaster. Right? Just so many strikes in the beginning of referring to Mel as Melody Holt, saying, I don't believe Martell's ever been arrested or convicted of any crimes or any of this, omitting, of course, was there a cover-up on the show? Are there being deleted stuff on the show? Because you've alluded to that when your Tamron Hall interview, that production has protected certain people and has prevented certain scenes and things like that on here. So it's just wild. But it's like, I just feel like we're in the twilight zone where people do not want the truth. They do not want to believe the truth because of their hatred of Mel. And that is why I said the standing of people, the parasocial relationships people have, it's like you have such blinders and tunnel vision, you don't see how wrong this is. And I know for a fact some of you have seen these exact patterns in your own lives, or know somebody who has, and y'all getting on this internet and saying otherwise. All for hatred and dislike with Mel. All because you still attach her to the show. You attach her to the version of Mel that you've seen on the show. You cannot see reason. You cannot see how certain things can be manipulated and misinterpreted. Why would they always show Mel's reaction to what Martell said or did first? To paint the picture that it is Mel that is initiating all this stuff and egging all this stuff on. to protect Martell, the same network that protected Tim Norman. Make it make sense. When will people open their eyes? It's just exhausting. The amount of pick-me's that are on the internet going to bat, falling on the sword for Martell HOLT. Like, what type of world are we going to live in, you guys? And y'all can't act like y'all don't see the news of all these people who are getting unalived by their ex-boyfriends, their ex-husbands, and everything else. Trying to get away, trying to get restraining orders, trying to get protection orders. And still, they end up 6 feet under. It's not okay. It's crazy out here. It absolutely is. But that is it. That is all for this video, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.